the ultimate chocolate chip cookie recipe. Hey there, cookie lovers. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm your name, and today we're diving into the delicious world of chocolate chip cookies. But not just any cookies, the ultimate, chewiest, gooeyest chocolate chip cookies you've ever tasted. After this video, you'll be the cookie master among your friends and family. Did you know that the chocolate chip cookie was actually invented by accident? Back in the 1930s, Ruth Wakefield added chopped up bits of a Nestlé chocolate bar into her cookie dough, expecting it to melt completely. Instead, the chocolate held its shape, and the chocolate chip cookie was born. How sweet is that? Chocolate chip cookies hold a special place in my heart. Growing up, my grandma and I would bake them every Sunday afternoon. The smell of freshly baked cookies brings back so many warm memories, and I can't wait to share this recipe with all of you. Stick around, because I'll be sharing all my secret tips and tricks to make the perfect cookie, from selecting the best ingredients to mastering the baking process. So, let's get started. Ingredients overview. First things first, let's talk ingredients. Here's what you'll need. 2 quarter cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 cup 2 sticks of unsalted butter softened, 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Using quality ingredients really makes a difference. Real butter and pure vanilla extract enhance the flavor immensely. If you have dietary preferences, no worries. You can substitute the butter with coconut oil and use flax eggs instead of regular eggs for a vegan version. Let's make these cookies perfect for everyone. Equipment needed. Now let's gather our equipment. Mixing bowls, 1 large, 1 medium, measuring cups and spoons, an electric mixer, handheld or stand mixer, a spatula or wooden spoon, baking sheets, parchment paper or silicone baking mats. Don't have an electric mixer? No problem. You can mix by hand. It'll just give you a bit of an arm workout. Plus, it makes the cookies taste even better knowing you put in that extra effort. Preparing the dough. All right, let's make some dough. Step 1. Mix the dry ingredients. In your medium mixing bowl, whisk together 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. Whisking helps to evenly distribute the baking soda and salt throughout the flour. Once mixed, set this bowl aside. Step 2. Cream the butter and sugars. In your large mixing bowl, add 1 cup of softened unsalted butter, cream 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of packed brown sugar. Using your electric mixer on medium speed, cream them together until the mixture is light and fluffy. This should take about 2 to 3 minutes. Creaming incorporates air into the butter, which gives your cookies a better rise and a tender texture. Step 3. Add eggs and vanilla. Add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract to the butter-sugar mixture and beat until combined. Then add the 2 large eggs, one at a time, mixing well after each addition. This ensures that the eggs are fully incorporated and the mixture is smooth. Step 4. Combine dry and wet ingredients. Gradually add your dry ingredient mixture to the wet ingredients. Mix on low speed or stir gently until just combined. It's important not to overmix at this stage. Overmixing can develop the gluten in the flour too much, resulting in tough cookies, and we want them soft and chewy. Step 5. Fold in the chocolate chips. Now for the best part, chocolate chips. Fold in 2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips using a spatula or wooden spoon. Make sure they're evenly distributed so every cookie is packed with chocolatey goodness. Tips for achieving the perfect dough texture. Room temperature ingredients. Make sure your butter is softened and your eggs are at room temperature. This helps them blend more easily and evenly. Measure flour correctly. Too much flour can make cookies dry and crumbly. To measure correctly, spoon the flour into your measuring cup and level it off with a knife. Don't scoop it directly from the bag. Avoid overmixing. Once you add the dry ingredients, mix just until you don't see any more dry flour. This keeps the cookies tender. Common mistakes to avoid. Using melted butter. Melted butter can cause your cookies to spread too much and become flat and greasy. Skipping salt. Even in sweet recipes, salt is essential to enhance the flavors. Old baking soda. Ensure your baking soda is fresh. An expired leavening agent won't give you the proper rise. Remember, the key to amazing cookies is treating the dough with care. Take your time with each step and you'll be rewarded with the best cookies ever. Chilling the dough. Now here's a crucial step, chilling the dough. I know it's tempting to bake them right away, but trust me, this makes a big difference. Why chill the dough? Chilling solidifies the fat in the cookies. As the cookies bake, the fat in the chilled dough takes longer to melt than room temperature fat. The longer the fat remains solid, the less the cookies spread. This results in thicker, chewier cookies with a richer flavor. Plus, chilling allows the dry ingredients to absorb the wet ingredients, enhancing the overall taste and texture. Recommended chilling time. Cover your dough tightly with plastic wrap and chill it in the refrigerator for at least 1 hour. If you have more time, chilling for overnight or up to 24 hours is even better. How to store the dough if baking later. If you're not planning to bake all the dough at once, you can keep it in the fridge for up to 3 days. Alternatively, you can scoop the dough into balls, place them on a baking sheet, freeze until solid, then transfer to a freezer-safe bag. They can be frozen for up to 3 months. Just add a couple of extra minutes to the baking time when you're ready to bake them straight from the freezer. Shaping and baking the cookies. Time to bake these beauties. Step 1. Preheat the oven. Preheat your oven to 375 degrees out to 9 degrees. A properly heated oven is crucial for even baking. Step 2. Prepare the baking sheets. Line your baking sheets with parchment paper or silicone baking mats. This prevents the cookies from sticking and helps them bake evenly. Step 3. Portion the dough. Use a cookie scoop or a spoon to portion out equal amounts of dough. I recommend about 2 tablespoons of dough per cookie for a nice substantial size. Roll the dough between your palms to form smooth balls. Shaping tips for uniform cookies. Consistent size. Uniform dough balls ensure all your cookies bake at the same rate. Extra chocolate chips. For that bakery-style look, press a few extra chocolate chips onto the tops of the dough balls before baking. Step 4. Arrange on baking sheet. Place the dough balls on the prepared baking sheets, leaving about 2 inches of space between each one to allow room for spreading. Step 5. Bake the cookies. Bake 1 sheet at a time in your preheated oven. For chewy cookies, bake for 9 to 11 minutes until the edges are golden brown, but the centers still look slightly underbaked. For crispier cookies, bake for 12 to 14 minutes. Visual cues to determine doneness. Edges should be set and golden. Centers may look soft and slightly underdone. That's perfect. They will continue to set as they cool. Rotating trays for consistent baking results. If you're baking multiple trays, rotate them halfway through the baking time. This means swapping the top tray with the bottom one and turning them around to ensure even baking. Optional step, adding a little something extra. For an extra touch of flavor, sprinkle a tiny pinch of flaky sea salt on top of each cookie right before baking. This enhances the chocolate flavor and adds a delightful contrast. Adjusting for cookie preference. For thicker cookies, chill the dough longer and pile the dough higher when shaping. For thinner cookies, use slightly less flour and flatten the dough balls a bit before baking. Remember, every oven is different, so keep an eye on your first batch to determine the perfect baking time. Cooling and serving. Once the cookies are out of the oven, let them cool on the baking sheet for about 5 minutes. This allows them to firm up enough to transfer without breaking. Gently transfer the cookies to a wire rack to cool completely, or at least cool enough to handle without burning your fingers. Serving suggestions. Classic combo. Enjoy them warm with a cold glass of milk. Ice cream sandwiches. Place a scoop of vanilla ice cream between 2 cookies for an indulgent dessert. Drizzle delight. Drizzle melted chocolate or caramel sauce over the top for extra decadence. Storing leftovers to maintain freshness. If you have leftovers, lucky you, store the cookies in an airtight container at room temperature for up to a week. To keep them soft, place a slice of bread or a tortilla in the container. The cookies will absorb moisture and stay fresh longer. Variations and add-ins. Feeling creative? Here are some fun ways to switch up this classic recipe. Ideas for mix-ins. Nuts. Add 1 cup of chopped walnuts, pecans, or almonds for a crunchy texture. Dried fruit. Mix in pour a 1/4 cup of dried cranberries, cherries, or raisins for a sweet tart twist. Different types of chocolate. Use white chocolate chips, dark chocolate chunks, or mix in some butterscotch chips. Adjusting the base recipe for flavor variations. Double chocolate cookies. Replace corner cup of the flour with unsweetened cocoa powder to make a chocolate dough. Oatmeal chocolate chip cookies. Substitute 1 cup of flour with old-fashioned rolled oats for a heartier cookie. Peanut butter chocolate chip cookies. Add ½ cup of creamy peanut butter to the wet ingredients for an irresistible flavor combo. Tips for making the recipe vegan or gluten-free. Vegan cookies. Use vegan butter in place of regular butter. Replace each egg with a flax egg. Mix 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of water and let it sit for 5 minutes. Ensure your chocolate chips are dairy-free. Gluten-free cookies. Substitute the all-purpose flour with a 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour blend. Make sure all other ingredients, like baking soda, are certified gluten-free. Encouraging creativity and personalization. Don't be afraid to experiment. Baking is both a science and an art, so feel free to get creative with your add-ins and flavors. Maybe try adding a hint of cinnamon or espresso powder to the dough for a unique twist. If you come up with a fantastic new variation, share it in the comments below. I love hearing your ideas and might feature them in future videos. Troubleshooting tips. Encountered some issues? Let's troubleshoot. Problem: cookies spreading too much and becoming flat. Solution: your butter may have been too warm, or the dough wasn't chilled long enough. Make sure to chill the dough thoroughly and try adding an extra tablespoon of flour if necessary. Problem: cookies are too hard or dry. Solution: you might have overbaked them or added too much flour. Reduce the baking time by a couple of minutes and ensure you're measuring your flour correctly. Problem: cookies didn't spread at all. Solution: the oven temperature might be too low or there could be too much flour in the dough. Check your oven temperature with an oven thermometer and adjust as needed. Solutions and preventative measures. Accurate measuring. Always measure your ingredients carefully. Fresh ingredients. Make sure your baking soda is fresh for proper leavening. Oven calibration. Ovens can vary, so consider using an oven thermometer to ensure accuracy. Remember, baking is a learning process. Don't get discouraged if things aren't perfect the first time. Practice makes perfect. And there you have it, the ultimate chocolate chip cookie recipe. We started with quality ingredients, carefully prepared our dough, chilled it for optimal texture, and baked to perfection. Whether you like them chewy or crispy, this recipe is sure to satisfy your cookie cravings. I hope you enjoyed baking along with me today. There's nothing quite like the smell of homemade cookies filling your kitchen and the joy of sharing them with loved ones. If you give this recipe a try, I'd love to hear how it turned out. Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts or any variations you made. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more delicious recipes and baking tips. Share this video with your fellow cookie enthusiasts. Until next time, happy baking!